What is going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I'm back with another setup makeover, and I'm really excited to bring you another one because the past few you guys have really enjoyed, and I've tried my best to make each one a little bit different, and I can tell you the one today is definitely a bit outside of what we've done before. So for starters, you can notice there's two large displays in the back. We've had a lot of space with this one, so I was able to put a large IKEA desk in, change out the computer case, put some speakers on some desktop stands, and in general, I think it turned out very nicely, but there's still some room to add some personal touches and personality to it. So for this video, it is actually for my friend and podcast co-host, Brandon, his roommate Kirk. He needed a desk setup because his is actually a folding desk from Costco and just didn't have much on it. So I feel like this is one of the bigger transformations because the desk to start with was just like anything that he could find. So for the most part, we went with IKEA for this setup because the quality to size ratio is just unbeatable. This desk is like the new version of the old Galant, and it allows you to just have a lot of space with a sturdy leg that you can change the height of, but also just a solid desktop with a center frame because the amount of weight that we're putting on it, you had to ensure that there was just enough support to go all the way across so the desk doesn't cave in. So thankfully there was enough room to put some HS5 Yamaha speakers on some stands. In this video, I've also got an awesome giveaway of a 27-inch gaming monitor that is curved for your setup, so if you guys would like to win this, you gotta follow these steps. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button for the YouTube channel. Also follow me on Instagram at justin.tsc. Follow the feature.podcast on Instagram. Leave a comment down below with your Instagram username and drop a like on this video, and when this video hits 6,000 likes, I'll be picking a winner in the comment section below and pinning it. This giveaway is open internationally. I'll ship pretty much anywhere. I've even shipped a computer to the UK and it cost me hundreds of dollars, but I'm willing to do that. As always, all the products that we mentioned as well as the rules of the giveaway are going to be linked down below. So the way I would describe the previous setup was just like very temporary. Everything was kind of there without a purpose and it would work, but at the same time not be very effective, and stuff was sort of everywhere. So instead of it being a makeover where we're working with something that hasn't been touched in many years, we're instead sort of building it from the ground up, but also finding where there can be a lot of improvements.
Hi, my name's Kirk. This is my room/office. As you can see, it is the bare bones right now. I just moved out here with Brandon and was offered to have a little makeover. As you can see, the setup is like going back to university. I have a book holding up one of the legs. I don't have a holder holding up that monitor, and it's basically just put together super quick.
So you guys probably know the drill by now, and that is to clean up the desk and kind of clear out the space, get it ready for painting, and decide what we're gonna keep, upgrade, and completely replace. I think it's pretty obvious in this situation that the desk is gonna have to go, and quite a few accessories as well, and we're gonna use as many of the previous computer components and just transition it into a nicer and larger case. Even though that Costco desk did the job for a couple weeks, I'm sure Kirk couldn't be happier to see that thing go. So the next step was to paint the walls, and as you can probably tell, the paint color that we went with is very similar to the previous one, which I didn't really notice until they're painting. That wasn't really a big problem, but if I was to do it over again, I probably would have gone one shade darker just to add a bit more of a difference, but I didn't want to go too dark because the desk was going to be dark gray and I wanted to still have the contrast. This room is in an area that gets some light when it's really bright outside, but in other times it is kind of like a mid to dim setting, so I wanted to keep that into account. For those who are wondering the color, it is called Stonington Gray, and although some of our transformations are huge in terms of paint, in this case it was just a minor shift. So on the furniture side of things, we went with IKEA for this one because I needed a large solid desk that also looked quite minimal, but most importantly had to fit the monitors and give a little bit of storage as well. The drawer unit is the IKEA IDASEN, and this right here is one that goes with the matching IDASEN table, and it is a pretty good size, has a few drawer compartments, and on the top also has kind of like a shallow hole to put anything you want in it while kind of hiding it from plain sight. It is made out of galvanized steel, which is prone to denting, but going underneath the IDASEN, I think it looks really good. So when it comes to the desk, there's a few things that have to match the criteria, one of which being a large enough table to fit two 34-inch ultra-wide monitors, but at the same time being deep enough so that it isn't right in your face. The perfect choice for this setup was the IKEA IDASEN, and this is 63 inches in length and 31 inches in depth, so plenty of space, but you definitely have to have the room for it. What is also nice is that it is extremely sturdy. As you can see, everything is just very well built. There's also like a reinforcing bracket that goes all the way across, built-in cable management, and you can also choose the custom height between 24 and 30 inches based on your preference. I know some of you guys have mentioned in my past desk setup tours that there was a bit of bending in the middle, so in this case, with this type of desk, tabletop, and frame, you don't have to worry about that at all. It definitely isn't as cheap being in like the commercial line, but I feel like for longevity, this is definitely worth it, and there's a lot of color and customization options for the legs and the top. For this setup, because it was kind of like the gaming theme, I decided to go with just like a dark look and contrast it with a lighter wall. So now that we have the basic furniture figured out, the next thing is moving on to the tech. And in terms of speakers, we went with the HS5s from Yamaha, and these are just great studio monitors that do need to have a few bits and pieces to work with your computer, but in terms of sound quality are going to be great. Because the room we're working with does have more space than usual, we were also able to add some Amazon stands to hold the studio monitors and keep them out of the way, but also direct them to the ear. Moving on, it is time to set up the centerpiece of this entire setup, and that is the Cooler Master GM34 34-inch ultra-wide monitors that are made for gamers. Although one 34-inch monitor is probably going to be more than enough, having two of them allows you to play some great games on both screens, but also just do some great multitasking, which is what Kirk is going to do. One of the things that I would recommend when there's a lot of different moving parts in a setup is actually to just lay it out and start to figure out where the power is going to go. So in this case, you have the monitors, the two speakers, the computer, and also the power pad for charging. And in this case, we utilize both the built-in system with the mesh on the IDASEN and also added a Signum cable holder to the right side where the PC is, just to tidy up a little bit more. As for peripherals, we went with the Razer Synosa Chroma as well as the Razer Death Adder V2 mouse, and this combination is kind of like the mid price point in some areas. It is also fully customizable, very ergonomic, has good tracking, and in general, for something that is to replace the previous option, I think this is a good choice. The last little touch that we added in terms of the audio is the IKEA NAB Bluetooth speaker, which is portable, has like 8 to 10 hours of battery life, and just looks very good and kind of brings the setup together. So now it is time to power everything on, and as you can probably tell, the biggest centerpiece in this entire setup is the new Cooler Master GM 34-inch gaming monitors. Beyond the 3440 by 1440 resolution, on the spec side of things, these suit anyone who is trying to do both creative work, but more specifically gaming. It has a 144Hz refresh rate with a 1 millisecond response time, FreeSync 2 compatibility, HDR 400, and a 95% DCI P3 color gamut. I just think two of these side by side looks incredible, and with the 1500R curve radius, it just gives you a very immersive experience both for productivity and gaming. From my past experience, ultra-wide monitors have been made for like productivity and real estate, but in this case, it is a gaming company making a gaming focused monitor. I found the viewing angles to be really good, and in terms of brightness, it is brighter than the ones that I've tried out in the past at around 400 nits. It's also G-Sync compatible with Quantum Dot, and the stand also looks really good, so this is like perfect to blend into a beautiful desk setup for gamers. Whether it is from the front, the back, the side, the LEDs and everything, I think this monitor looks incredible in every aspect. With just a little bit of cable management, you can see that this entire setup just looks really clean and amazing. So if you guys want to go ahead and check this out, I'm going to drop a link down below as well as a promo code, and a huge thanks to Cooler Master for sponsoring this video. We also added a wireless charging pad from Nomad to charge an iPhone as well as an Apple Watch, and even a set of AirPods if you would like. The speakers themselves did take quite a bit of setup in terms of the different cables and adapters to work with a computer, but in terms of like monitoring and everything, these are a great option. Obviously, not everyone needs studio monitors, so there are other options out there including Kanto and Audio Engine, which I personally really enjoy, but I thought I would change it up and give these a try for this makeover. Beyond just the functionality of having a great mouse and keyboard, I think these also look incredible, and the one thing that we were just waiting to add is a leather desk mat just to make the gaming experience even better. I've always really liked Razer's computers, and of course they're very well known for the peripherals as well, so here is a mechanical keyboard that is RGB but also didn't really break the bank. One of the things that we were also trying to figure out is where exactly to put the drawer unit, and underneath the desk usually makes a lot of sense, but in this case with two ultra-wide monitors, it made more sense to put it on the side just to give you a lot of room to move around. And as you can see with the little seam in the middle, it was the perfect spot for the Bluetooth speaker and the headphones to live. It also gave Kirk a lot of much needed storage that he didn't have before. So one of the things that we wanted to make over for the very first time on this series is the PC itself. And this is already a relatively powerful computer. Kirk mentioned that he paid quite a bit for it. It is sort of like a custom pre-build and a mini case. So the priority was to shift it over to something that was larger, gave the computer some more room to breathe, and also some more expandability options in the future. So we went with the Mastercase SL600M, which is a powder-coated black aluminum that goes with the entire setup because there's just a ton of dark grays and blacks. If you guys saw a previous video on my channel, Austin Evans actually pretty much built my entire first PC. I don't really know how to do it, so the whole daunting process of transitioning a case was actually done by Manfred from Memory Express, so huge thanks to him. It took a couple hours to kind of transition everything over and cable manage everything, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of room for it to breathe, and just by the size of the fans alone, I feel like that makeover was worth it. As you can see, the new PC case also looks much better and gives a lot of space for expandability and also ventilation with many more larger fans built in as well. So by transferring everything from a mini case to a mid tower, that is probably one of the biggest changes in this entire setup aside from the furniture. On the portable side of things, Kirk has a Razer Blade Studio 15 Studio Edition that has the RTX 5000 processor, which is great for like production work and creativity. And on top of that can be customized up to 32 gigs of RAM as well as an i7 8-core processor. The 4K OLED touchscreen also brings everything together and you have all the I/O, and as someone who does like creative work, in his case, a little bit of graphic design as well, this is like the ultimate portable machine. If you wanted to as a desktop setup for work, for example, you can also plug it right into the monitors and it will work flawlessly. The graphics power for this computer is definitely there and it is just so well machined and looks incredible. One of the things that we usually forget in a setup is the chair, so with Kirk being a taller guy and mentioning that he had chair issues in the past, we hooked him up with the Ergo L from Cooler Master, which is a great solution. It's got the main features that you're probably looking for in a chair, such as lumbar support that is adjustable, 3-angle tilt, seat depth, and just like a solid build with the aluminum armrest. It also glides around quite nicely, but one of the most important things and the reason why I usually hate gaming chairs is that they're just so ugly, and at least this one looks like a good blend of gaming and business. So now the setup makeover is complete, and when it comes to the whole kind of vision behind it, it was an IDASEN desk that had plenty of space to work with, but at the same time keeping things very simple because the two 34-inch ultra-wide monitors are going to be like the centerpiece and the center of attention. Storage was also something that I wanted to add, as well as some speakers that can just sit on the side and stay off the desk, but also leaving some room for like the laptop, keyboard, mouse, and a large mouse mat. The last step in the makeover was to cable manage and also change up the case and give everything some more room while keeping the same fundamentals. This essentially gives Kirk a nice place to work and game, so let's go ahead and roll the B-roll and get his reaction of the space.
Okay, so welcome back to my room/office, and yes, this is the exact same room, I promise. When Justin asked what I was trying to do, and I responded by I wanted to take over the world, I think he really killed it in creating a badass little command center for me. The two new curved screens kind of give you the impression that you're basically in the computer. motivation and productivity has dramatically increased. With my old setup, I was having a lot of body issues, cramps in my neck and like pains up and down my wrist, and so far with like this proper setup, that seems to have been eliminated or is a lot more noticeable at least. So I'm super pumped on everything. We're able to, so I was able to upgrade my case to a mid tower, which allowed for further expandability in the future, airflow, and all around just looks a lot better. If you're dealing with the same kind of issues, I really encourage you to upgrade some of your stuff. If you don't know what to do, maybe check out your boy Justin for some tips. So I just really want to thank Justin again, sponsors, and Brandon, of course, who clowned this room to the max, which put me on Justin's radar.
But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys enjoy, make sure you drop a like, and I hope one of you guys really enjoys this new 27-inch curved monitor. And as always, if you guys have any suggestions as to what you would like to see next for the desk setup makeover series, make sure you drop them down below, whether it's like a living room, a different style and design, some furniture choices, tech, anything you guys might imagine. I'll try to comply, and I'll see you guys in the next video.